thing here.
Sure.
I gotta ask you something. Do you really think that confidence plays that big a factor for that age group, and not, say, status, being the best-looking kid, being the one with a lot of influence?
Well, I think as far as influence socially, a lot of what you're talking about follows logically from being a confident kid.
Okay.
You know, nobody in 7th grade, for example, has been playing basketball for 10 years. You know, they've all been through Little League, and let's say if you're a baseball player and you played T-ball when you're in 1st grade, by the time you get to 6th or 7th grade, you know, you played some baseball, but some of the other kids have too. Nobody is being scouted by the pros at that point. Everybody's got a little bit more to learn, a little bit more strength to be had. But the kid who looks at a pitcher and says, I can hit this baseball, you know, or is in basketball and looks to the kid from the other middle school across the court going, you can't guard me. That's already the kid who's going to have the confidence.
Okay.
I can give you another example.
Please.
One of our vices, Emily and I, is we like to go BMX racing. It makes us feel like a kid again, but obviously there's a lot of kids involved. You know, they have an old guy class, and it's a lot of fun to go play in the dirt. But one of the most amazing things is where we live, we have a lot of nationally ranked kids who race in that sport. All of those kids are like, you know, from the age of about 7 on, could be poster children for David D'Angelo Cocky Funny. I mean, they really could. You know, you have a kid who has a number plate with a national, you know, logo on it, and it says 3 on it. And this kid is the 3rd fastest 12-year-old in the entire country. A kid like that invariably could be the CEO of a major company at age 12. It's almost like the same thing as when a kid beats leukemia and he's faced down death at an incredibly early age in 1. You just can't stop the kid. It's like the true definition of unstoppable confidence, right?
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. At the young age, those kids, they're amazing. And the confidence just breeds so much. Because, see, when you're confident, then you can start building all those other skills you need at an early age to really flourish socially. And you learn how to be cool. And once, you know, you get over yourself, as it were, and realize, hey, look, you know, I'm really good at this. Some of these kids even, it's hard to do when you're 7 or 8. You know, they basically just look at, you know, a kid who's 16 years old and number 3 in the world going, I'm going to pull you down the first straight, and with a straight face, you know, because he's 7. And, you know, his number says 2 and the 15-year-old says 3. So the 7-year-old logically, or I guess illogically, concludes he's going to beat the kid. You know, that's really charming. But later, what that confidence morphs into is just genuine coolness, which to me is I'm confident and I know I can succeed, but I don't need to make you look worse to make myself look better. When I walk into the room, I'm going to greet those around me and empower those around me so they feel cooler by being around me. I think that's pretty much the yardstick by which a really cool person can be measured by. And that comes from that confidence. That comes from a history, a heritage in one's life of winning. You know what I mean?
Okay. So we talked about you growing up, you not thinking that girls were into you. Finally, that one girl takes you aside at the beach, says, kiss me.
Yeah.
Did you kiss her?
Yeah, you know what is really, really funny, Frank? The first time I ever kissed a girl, I got to third base with her, and it happened within about 7 minutes. So all these guys who sell PUA books on how, you know, you can get in a girl's pants in 10 minutes, I know it's true because I did it the first time I ever kissed a girl when I was 15. I'm not going to say I did it with any skill, but that's exactly what happened. And it's kind of funny, but that was a very empowering experience for me.
And did everything change from that one incident?
Oh, most definitely. Most definitely.
What was the biggest change that you noticed from that event?
I think I was trusting and believing, you know, even at that age. And it's funny because you're bringing up things I've never thought of as having influenced the way I think and teach now. But I think this really, really does. And what ended up changing was I went from thinking, you know, I don't think girls are really going to like me. You know, I'm not really very good at sports. I've always kind of been bred to be a brain instead of a jock. And, you know, parents just don't understand how that just kicks your butt socially. And I got to the point where I was like, wait a minute, this girl went out of her way to show me that, you know, she wanted literally my hands all over her and wanted to be kissed. Maybe that could happen again. Maybe there's other girls like her. And the funny part, Frank, is nowadays I teach guys, don't let the opinion of one woman shape your entire frame. In other words, if you aren't very good at approaching and you get up every ounce of nerve to actually go approach a woman, you get over the approach anxiety and you go talk to her, and she says, what a little chump, get away from me. Some guys may say, wow, I'm a little chump. Women do hate me. I've always been right. I should have never, ever even tried. And they can go decades without ever talking to another woman. And all they ever got was one woman's opinion. Meanwhile, the same guy could go up to another woman and get his verve up and go talk to this woman and say, look, I saw you from across the room, pick an opener, right? And the woman goes, wow, you know, I've been looking at you all night trying to get your attention. I thought you'd never talk to me. And the guy goes, oh my gosh, women love me. I've been so stupid my whole life for being so shy and being so ashamed to go approach women. They all love me, right? And yeah, that's going to be a tremendous empowerment experience for that guy, but both of those frames are based from logical fallacy because you're dealing with one opinion from one person. But see, it's funny because that one opinion I got from that little girl back when I was, 14, told me something that was healthy, right? And it literally, that one positive experience washed away some self-imposed negative experience. You see what I mean?
Let's fast forward to when you were about, let's say, 18, 3 years from that incident. What was your life with women then, and what were you doing in your non-dating life?
Well, what I did when I was 18 is I went away to college, which if you're listening and still in high school, man, get away from your parents and see if you can go out of town to college. You know, even if it's just an hour and a half, 2 hours drive by car to get to your college. If you have the means to be able to go away to college, do it. But my frame of mind when I went away to college was, well, to be completely forthright, I had started getting okay with women because when I was a senior in high school, one of the cutest girls in school told her friend to tell me that, you know, she liked me. And of course, I never would have had, even at that point, I never would have had the guts to ask her out. So that was kind of another turning point experience that empowered me more. And, you know, I got major one-itis with that chick. You know, don't believe anybody who tells you one-itis only happens before you get her attracted. I blew it, you know. I became too obsessed, and she started thinking, well, I think this guy, you know, I've got him wrapped a little too tight. I'm going to cut him loose. So she broke up with me. But because I had the experience of having dated her for a while, I went to the next girl I thought was attractive and said, okay, well, she and I broke up. Let's you and I go out. And the girl goes, okay. You know, the whole concept of a woman responding so powerfully to confident leadership that she'll just basically do as you say, you know, as long as you got her best interest in heart, right? And so I dated her for the rest of the school year. And of course, I went away to college, and like any self-respecting college freshman, I got rid of all the high school girls in my life. Right? And I went to college pretty much on a high, saying, you know, I'm just going to get to know girls and women, I guess you can call them, once they hit 18, right? And start really doing well. And I went to a small private college, and fortunately for a guy like me, the nature of that college was such that it was replete with guys with no social skill. It was kind of like a brainiac college. More girls than guys, like 70-30, which is awesome. And I started meeting girls, but I started making mistakes because I needed that. What I'd always missed, and what I always, even today, tell guys they ought to do,